let's get on to Saturday, right? We haven't got the final. The face has come back, right? We've got Saturday is the juvenile hurdle. So Chepstow lost its finale juvenile hurdle, didn't it? It used to be a pants race anyway. There was some reasonable horses that might go and win it, but I don't like. This is a race now where potentially could have been like a stepping stone to that. I was expecting that probably we would see a terrible sort of lineup for this, and I fear that we have got that. So this would be a race where I would definitely just be watching. I wouldn't be getting carried away with anything that does anything in this race, but I have no opinion of it. Katie, are you more positive about the juvenile hurdle that opens Saturday?
There's a couple that would interest me, but firstly I'd want to see how the market prices them up, because it's difficult to tell with some of these. You've got some of them making their debuts over hurdles, and it's going to be a bit of a trappy race probably to have a bet in. Like Balboa, he has the previous experience, and he finished second to Max of Stars last time out at Market Raisin. That Max of Stars is a filly that I really like, so I was quite interested in that form line. Finn Russell was tailed off in that race, so he'd need to improve plenty to reverse form of Balboa to begin with. Again, it's difficult with the others because we haven't seen them over hurdles yet. Unless you've heard they go well at home, it is a bit of a guessing game. But one that clearly stands out is Liari for Paul Nicholls, bred and previously owned by the Aga Khan, a new recruit. You'd expect a newcomer from that yard to be going well. He's a strong staying pedigree, plenty of class as well in there, being by Cracksman. So he'd probably be one that I'd really want to see how he gets on over hurdles first time out here.
Yeah, definitely. And I mentioned that on Monday, I think, with Jamie, saying that like we were talking about flat-breedy type horses like a Dream to Share's Sire and things like that, and saying that you need to just judge them on their own merits, what they're doing. Like, who knows if they're going to be good or bad. But yeah, Cracksman, I think this will be his first horse over an obstacle as well. I think it was Solo Saxophone that was Frankel's first one to win over hurdles. So it's quite exciting. And I like that when you get like the crossover sire stuff coming in, because I'm just desperate for there to be like the new linchpin national hunt sire. So yeah, Liara would definitely be interesting. Jamie, you have a bet in this, or should we move on?
Move on, Dave. Yeah, we'll watch and brief from it.
So efficient, this guy. The Native River Handicap Chase feels good, doesn't it? But a little disappointing. Well, not that disappointing. Like it's a nice race, but I feel like a race that's named after Native River that's going and winning Welsh Nationals, Hennessy's, all that sort of stuff. He deserves better than this, doesn't he? But anyway, there's a few good names that are in here. Switch Hit, I remember him a few years back when he was purchased for big money, was always going to be like the next best thing. Never really fulfilled his potential, has he? T-Clip is a horse that I liked. Got a little bit too obsessed with him at one point, but even I've given up on T-Clipper. 3 Under Through 5 is another horse that I'm probably overly harsh on this horse. I just don't think it's as good as his rating, or he's as good as his rating, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. And then you get horses like Stolen Silver that had a point where you thought this could be a seriously good horse, potentially Cheltenham standard type horse, and then falls a little bit by the wayside. So I would find this a race that's much for muchness, and I actually genuinely would feel quite bad if I started to make a case and bet any of these, because I think I've slagged more of them off than I've bet any of them. But Jamie, this is the sort of race you want to get stuck into, right? There's got to be something that's taken your eye.
Oh yeah, this is the last time, and it'll be the final time I'll ever back T-Clipper. Because the fact of the matter, it's £4 lower than last year when it was favourite, and I can't believe it was beaten by Peregrine Run. It went off 7-4 favourite. Now, look, Dave.
11-8, mate.
Yeah, we've been previous with all these horses. I can't see final orders coming over. I've back Stolen Silver, I don't know how many times. 300 through 5, I've given up on him now. I'm done with him. And when I say that, 300 through 5 will probably win. The rest of it, Eva's Oscar and Jevry, I can't see it coming over. But yeah, I'm just going to have a stab in the dark. Not even look at the form, but I looked at the form, obviously. But £4 lower. Hopefully that £4 lower will get him home this year. And it's T-Clipper for me in that race.
Brutal, isn't it? I mean, I knew it was coming at some point. I can't remember what price he opened up again in the shorts money poster at Final Decks, but he was a price last year, wasn't he? And I probably got a little bit too stuck into that one. But never mind. Katie, is there one that you like? And I'm sure there's plenty of horses you do like, but is there anything you like to bet?
I looked through a few of them, and the one that I started to really like, and Jamie's just stolen my thunder again, is T-Clipper. Come on. I really fancy him. The only worry that I have in here with him is if the ground does come up as quite testing. Because I did mention there's plenty of rain around. They're running on Friday. if it does get really testing, I think it's going to suit a few of the others a bit more than him. Like French Paradox will love it if it turns up as off. But on terms of like his ratings and his form, I think Tea Clippers really off a good mark. He goes well fresh. Next second in the race last year, when £4 higher, like Jamie touched on. I think he's maybe going to be a good bet in here because he could open at quite a decent price as well. So be a nice each way selection. I will just give a quick mention to 3 Under 3.5. I've backed him plenty of times and I felt like giving up on him as well. But I think he's £4 lower here than when he was 6th in a Group 3 handicap at Warwick in January. I just think of 147, it's a more workable mark for him. So I wouldn't completely rule him out. He has been knocking on the door. I think he has the potential to be winning a race like this. He's just been carrying really hefty rates. So 3 Under 3.5, I would give him a chance. But if the ground's on the better side, I'd be sticking with Tea Clipper.
Yeah, fair enough. I wonder with 3 Under 3.5, like I would say he's definitely better than 147. Well, maybe not tons better, but I would say he's a 147 horse. Like the rating that he's at now, I don't think he's in the 150s for capable of winning a handicap. I don't know, but I wonder because he ran in a novice chase here before, didn't he? And I don't remember who he got beat by. That might have been a Kim Bailey horse. Maybe it was Does He Know? But he looks like a dour stayer. They've run him in 3 mile 5 races last year. That was at the Air Scottish National last time, 4 miles. I wonder whether they're trying to set him up for a tilt at the Welsh National, you know. So if 3 Under 3.5 wins, then obviously Katie said it was going to win. If 3 Under 5 gets beat, then Dave said it's a plot for the Welsh National. So we've got both parts of it covered there. But I'd be very interested to see. You know, sometimes you get it, don't you? Especially when it's like the stable first string jockey, a different type of ride. Like if Harry gives this one a bit of a quieter ride and doesn't necessarily put him in a position where he's got to throttle him to go and win the race, I'd be potentially keen for later on in the year. Anyway, we've covered quite a few bits in there.
Sorry to interrupt, but if you look at him from last year, he ran over hurdles first time out. So I think it was, maybe a bit looking ahead in the future for him. So that's a good shout there.
Could be, couldn't it? So we're going to get balls deep in him for the Welsh National, regardless of the result on Saturday. Although I would say, if he wins on Saturday, then I'm not having him winning a handicap off of a higher mark. But you never know. 147, right? That's definitely doable in a normal handicap. They managed to shave a couple more pounds off of him. Ooh, we're going to be rich at Christmas. Right, we've got a novice's chase after this, 2 miles, 3.5. I like this sort of distance right at the start of the season. I know it's like a middle trip and people just say, make your mind up, run over 2 miles and run at 3. This is the perfect starting point for a horse to be able to do that. They can start over 2 mile, 3.5. Fences at Chepstow can take a bit of jumping as well. I think it's really good for experience. And I do think that like a good horse will come here and win it. So the good horse that's going to come here and win it will be Napper's Hill. He's never going to be a price. He's just going to absolutely bolt up as far as I'm concerned. Is there anything to get excited about? Because, Jamie, I know we've done things before. Whenever I've spoken to George, got him on previews, even I spoke to another mate, Aaron, quite a bit. They always like this unexpected party. Another horse that's always been like, oh, it's due to win a race. It's got loads of back class and anything. Is he got any chance of getting near him? Because on figures, nothing's got any right to get near Napper's Hill. Does he just bolt up, or is unexpected party got anything worth mentioning about? Or is there anything else worth mentioning in the race?
Unexpected party to me is I can't say it's a plot job, no. But I remember what we said, Dave, all these years that I wish there was still a novice handicap at Cheltenham because I'd be backing it already now for a novice handicap at Cheltenham. But
that's it, because it'll be a second season novice this year, won't it?
Yeah. I have a problem he doesn't win races. And I'm going to leave him at. I don't think they'll ruin his mark, Dave, in a race like this so early in the season. That's what I'm really getting at.
Can't go anywhere, can it? Can't be moved unless you win these races. You can't get moved, I don't think. So even if he gets close to Napper's Hill, you can't get done, I don't think.
A horse that I liked last year, but I think he needs rattling good ground, and it's I think is another horse that comes into the category that whatever he did over hurdles was a bonus, and this is collector's item. I think he'll be a decent price in here. The form of his point obviously was severely franked by a horse called Look Away, but Look Away didn't do much last year for Novice Herd. It was a great bumper horse, the one easy in the bumper at Aintree that year. But exactly what you're saying, Napper's Hill rated way higher than all of these over hurdles. Won the silver trophy first time out last year at the track. And I think if it just goes out in front, I don't think you'll be able to catch him. Now, the only thing is, they are stiff fences at Chepstow. This is not a hurdle race. the other horse obviously comes in as good risk at all. Another horse that falls in another category, whatever it was over hurdles, would be a bonus. But I would be watching this more than anything, Dave, because good risk at all. With his mark of 139, surely going to preserve it for a handicap and just let Napper's Hill go on to great races. So
Yeah.
I think Napper's Hill will win. Yeah.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Like, the more you start talking about it, like, I'm scared. I'm scared that the bookies are going to give us a bit of a prize on Napper's Hill, and I feel like I'm going to be obliged to get stuck into it.
There's another horse actually in going through all of them. Another horse that falls into category everything's, but that horse is huge. And I remember backing it last year, first time out in the maiden hurl at Cheltenham, called Twin Jets.
Yeah.
It's an absolute monster looking of a horse, like, and it could be an absolute monster over fences. Who knows? But as I say, I'm repeating myself. It's a watching brief, and I expect Napper's Hill to win, and I'll be watching the rest of the horses in the race with views to handicaps down the line.
Would there be any price that would lure you into betting? Because, like I say, I was expecting him
No.
to be short, but what if he's tuck a 2-to-1 poke? Would you get a bit in?
No.
Okay. Katie, what do you make of the race?
I'd be the same as Jamie, really. I'm looking forward to seeing Napper's Hill. I really liked him as a hurdler, and as you mentioned, he's well high on ratings. It's just now he has to go and jump the fences. So more of a watching brief for me. I want to see how he gets on. If he looks to be a natural chaser, which you'd expect he would improve maybe a bit for going chasing. Unexpected Party, he has that experience. He's quite exposed now, but I was just thinking if a few of these, more so Napper's Hill, if he makes some novice mistakes, then maybe Unexpected Party will be the one to use his experience and take advantage of that. And again, the other one that I quite like the look of is Twin Jets, because I really liked him last season. So just echoing what Jamie said, really, Twin Jets, he's got plenty to find on ratings here. But I'm excited to see him as a prospect going over fences now.
Oh, I like it. So you're doing me a favour. This is why it's good to talk horses and to get other people's views in it, because like Napper's Hill, he's 7 going 8 as well, isn't he? Let's not forget that. So novice chasers, most of them haven't done it, or would have done it by now. I know Edwardstone's a recent one that went and won at like a bit of an age, but there is a gap where he may, the fences should improve him, but he may have like reached a bit of a ceiling. There are some that can get closer to it. So like I say, I was potentially getting excited if we were going to get a price about him, but now listening to what you two have said, there's actually justification why we might get a price in the first instance. So I'll have to look twice, but I might end up backing him. We'll see. We've got a memorial handicap chase after this. This one's over 2 miles, 3.5 again. So we'll have a nice time comparison. People that like to do that, we get the same track trip as literally race after race to give us some substance to Napper's Hill. I'm sure Darryl will do something for us on that, and I'll ask him and pretend it's my own stuff. Just skimming through it now because it's the first time I've looked at the race. Christ, there's some more to it. Flicker Voyeur, I'm pretty sure that's won at Chepstow multiple times, isn't it? Elixir de Nuts is but Owl Dancer. This is like the veterans chase, isn't it? Right, this is not a race. This is not a race that I've got an opinion in. Katie,
Gino's in it.
Oh, no, yeah, but we know you fancy that. Katie, have you done any homework on it? Is there one you like in here?
That's all right, Gino, probably the one that stands out, but he's running off a career high mark of 149 now. Maybe there'd be a bit more improvement to come from him. He's only a 7-year-old, so yeah, he seems to be getting the hang of things over fences. The other one that I'd keep an eye on is No Risk to Flow for Ollie Murphy as well. The yard has been going great guns recently. I think around 33% strike rate currently. 2 from 5 over fences. So maybe he could improve a little bit more this season. Maybe I'd take a chance on No Risk to Flow. But at the moment, I don't have too strong a fancy. Those are the 2 that I'd be just keeping an eye on, and maybe I'll end up going for No Risk to Flow.
I like it because Flicker Voyeur has won this race. Well, I think he won. Did he win this race last year? I know it's won a thing before. £6 higher than last year in it, so maybe that's going to be a bit tricky to defy. Jamie, have you looked at it? You got any words of wisdom for us?
I think if what Katie said earlier there, if the rain comes by Saturday and it gets into the ground, I'm going to take a stab in the dark. The one down the bottom, Dave, of second Outlaw Peter and Newton Abbott. Walk in Clover, it's called, for Dan Skelton, and I see Harry's chalked up already. It'll definitely get in because final orders probably won't run. I'm just going to take a stab in the dark at him. I think he could be an each way bet to nothing in this race. Now, taking form literally in a 2-runner race around Newton Abbott and bog ground. But I think Outlaw Peter will go on to bigger things anyway. So I'm just going to take a stab in the dark because he'll have no weight and give it a go. because the rest of them are so unexposed. You know what I mean? Like Elixir the Nuts. I couldn't back Al Dancer with anybody's money. And yeah, no risk to flow. I think he won a race there with an entry last year. I backed it, but I leave him for another day. I like him in a more flatter track. Him no risk to flow. From things notes in the back of my aging head, but I will go with Walking Clover.
Fair enough. I've just looked at that one and noticed the silks and thought it was Cheetah Bellows owners, but I think it's the same silks, but it's owned by the Blind Squirrel. So unless they've changed their syndicate name and kept the silks, that'll be some digging worth doing, wouldn't it? But you get loads of these where the colours look very similar. Might not be, but I need to look at that one. Anyway, I've not really got an opinion in that race, so well done, guys. Thanks for digging me out of a hole. We do have the Silver Trophy Handicap Hurdle. This is a race, right, where I have spoken to Darren of Betfair. I know he's Betfair exclusive, but bollocks to that. We could put it in anyway. He really likes this Sonagino. I quite like him too as well. Like, I think he's got a chance, but I think he'll be like an obvious short price, well, not short price favourite, maybe like a 7-2 poke or something. I'm going to try and make a case for American Sniper. Not now. I'll do that when I've spent some more time on the race. But American Sniper is going to be a big price. The form of what he's done has never really been backed up the horses that he beat. But he beat 2 Ruckers horses, the Evan Williams and Adam Wedge horses. One was at Chepstow, and then he beat another one, maybe at Taunton, I think, after. Now, they weren't any good, either of those horses. The form of it, like I say, doesn't particularly stand up. But Tom Scudamore was really keen on him to go, like, push on in that first race that he ran at Chepstow. I do think in this race that can help. We see lots of horses that will go off at a fast pace, and then some of the ones out the back will sit. The jockeys will sit at the back and think, oh, they're never going to be able to keep up this pace. But lots of horses do. Sometimes they don't manage to reel them in. So American Sniper, I've got to give another mention to because he's going to be a big old price. Lallygag's one that Paul Nicholls a while back could never really put his fingers on. But that potentially has surpassed what he thought he was capable of. But he now doesn't. He's not able to like recognise what the ceiling of this horse could be. So the £7 that Freddie Gingle takes off as well could actually be quite interesting for him. But I think Sonagino, I'll bet him as the favourite, I think, and then have a little bit of a saver on American Sniper. Katie, I know Jamie's excited about this race, so we're going to make him wait. Anything you liked in here?
Sonagino, really. I can't see past him. He's an improving 6-year-old. Good third in a competitive handicap at Aintree, so I think he sets the standard, really. Won first time out last season at Chepstow as well, so I wouldn't be jumping to take him on. I'd be quite happy to go for him here.
Yes, come on, balls deep. Jamie, you said it wasn't Sonagino. I'm not at the top of the show before we started recording. Who wins the Silver Trophy? Because you quite like one of them, didn't you?
Yeah, good trainer, good target trainer. Peter Fahey. I think he'll come over, and I hope he does come over. I had a few bets in Galway. I backed him on the, I think it was a Friday night, Thursday night of Galway, and I was absolutely sick at no run. Then I backed him again. I think I was on the Saturday even or Sunday, and it won on the flat in Galway. Then ended up in the maiden hurdle at Navan and won. I beat a horse called Antrim Coast. And Antrim Coast came out yesterday when the maiden hurdle won easy. Mark of 129 is a bit stiff because the form he's made in hurdles is not that great, but I suppose you can soup that up a small bit. That Antrim Coast won yesterday, won easy, but what the Antrim Coast really beat, like Mr. Pink is not going to be a huge Willie Mullins horse down the line, really. Do you know what I mean? And Poor Field was very disappointing for Gordon Ailey. Gordon Ailey's horse looks like they need a run from. There's a lot of they just need to run. You can see they need to run. But one form line with Antrim Coast off 129. Peter Fahey brings one out and go to back sign from above. Yeah, that'll be my bet in the race.
Happy days. Well, by the time this is published, it'll be before the final declarations are out. But if you're watching it late on a Thursday evening, you'll probably see that horse hasn't been declared. So just follow me and Katie in on Sonagino. 3 best tips, isn't it? Daryl, me, and Katie. It can't get beat. Right, we've got a 4-year-old handicap hurdle. This is a race that potentially is one to get quite excited about because we've got horses that have run last year. They've got a bit of ability. We've potentially got a bit of back form, a bit of substance, but they're all entitled to be on some sort of upward curve and go and progress. Some of these horses as well, like Terrafer, I think it was, won this, then went novice chasing. This may not be the be all and end all for their seasons. Like, they may not necessarily be staying over hurdles. I don't know if I'll be able to have a bet in this race. To be honest with you, I need to look at it a little bit more. I need to see how they price things up. But it's really boring because it's this meat in it. But the 2 Nicholls horses, Affodil, I do think this horse is miles better than 128, but needs to do a little bit more to actually back that up. And Blue King Daru, I'm just going to mention this every time this horse is ever even entered in a race. I'm devastated in myself This will be the last time I'll say it then, right? When he ran at Cheltenham, he got beat by Scriptwriter. Perseus Way was in there. That was a pretty good juvenile hurdle. I fancied him a bit for that race as well, like trying to pull some substance from his French form. And he was crap, wasn't he? Then he goes and gets trounced at Taunton in another like novice hurdle. Then at Ascot in April, he goes and wins at 50-1, but he got an opening mark of 127. I'll go back and find my blog article, right? But when I made the substance for him for Cheltenham, I could make a case that I think he's about like a 135 to 140 horse, and he was given an opening mark £8 lower than what I thought would have been lenient anyway, and I missed him at 50s. So I mean, that's pretty much all I've got to say on the race. I'm disgusted at myself, but I still think now, right, like this is the sort of mark that he potentially could be. There was obviously some sort of issue last year, so I wouldn't want to be backing him short, but I reckon Blue King Daru could be quite a good horse. Jamie, is one that you like this race?
Not really, but you just took. To me, it's between the two. But the form the Ascot race between Blue King Daru and Affadil. Affadil then went on to win at Aintree, but just £10 in the rating here, Dave. So I'd be backing Affadil. I think Harry Cobden will be on it, and I think, yeah, I wouldn't be very much confidence in a 4-year-old handicap. But if he's a decent price, I'll back Affadil. Yeah.
Yeah, but that'll be the interesting thing, wouldn't it? I guess if they both do get declared, which one Cobster goes for. Katie, do you like the race? Is there anything you fancy?
I like the 2 Nichols one that you've covered already. Yeah, they probably look to have a really good chance. I looked at the 2 Gordon Elliott ones now. Do you think they're going to send them over?
Maybe.
I don't think so. He did that last year, Katie. He entered a load of horses in Chepstow to get see what handicap marks they have down the line. So
if so, I'd be interested in Gordon's Aura because he's got some form behind, like Takao, Jazzy, Matty, Biker, and those building his experience over in Ireland. So if he comes over, I'd be keen to see how he gets on. But if that is unlikely, then you're probably worth sticking with one of the Nichols pair, probably Affadil. But then again, he needs to reverse form with Blue King Daru, doesn't he? So yeah, probably got it covered there.
Yeah, fairly obvious and easy one, isn't it? But money will probably talk in that race, but it'll be potentially a real good one to watch anyway, because even further down the field, there'll be some half-decent prospects, I reckon, there that will win races as the season goes on. We've got the bumper now, which, Jamie, I was trying to force you to believe was on the Friday. In the past, there's been some quite nice horses that ran in there. Not Indefatigable. There was another one, his sibling, something. Terrible of me. Basically was ended up in this race, got withdrawn, and then they kept withdrawing it because lots of horses around here as good ground horses. That horse did go and like bot up at 20-1. So there'll be some horses in here that I think, if the ground and the rain does come, will be held back to win their bumpers a little bit later on. I'll talk about those ones a little bit more on Friday. I'm going to do a piece of work for the bumper on this one. So at the moment, I don't really have anything in here. And unfortunately, there's nothing really that jumped out of me as a worldie. So I will be able to dig out some ones that I think will win bumpers first time up, but can't tell you about them now because I haven't done the homework. Katie, is it a bumper that you like? Do you like bumpers in general?
If there's a Willie Mullins horse in a bumper, I don't mind it really. No, look, it depends. Like sometimes one will catch my eye, but generally a race like this, it can be a bit of a guessing game. Really just even if you're going on pedigree, you're really just guessing if they're going to be good or not. I guess you kind of have to go with connections as well. So in this one, the obvious one for me was Catboy, Paul Nichols, Harry Cobden's already jocked up. That I'm seeing on here. Now this horse cost €160,000 as a 3-year-old. You'd expect that he's going to be able to do something. Wicked Thoughts as well by Marla. That one he cost 135,000. The entry sales this year, another for Paul Nichols. So those are the 2 that I just really had a look at, and they cost quite a bit of money. So hopefully you'd expect them to go quite well. The other one that interested me was Albie Littlewood, because he's a half brother to Roxana, who of course was a really decent mare. So maybe he could have a bit of potential as well.
Yes, they're the ones that will go and win a little race, and especially with someone like Skelton, they will want to preserve him for a win. It's interesting with that Cat Boy as well. I probably could dig out the stats and try and find it. I can't remember Diana Wheatley having a horse with Paul Nichols before. So that's semi-interesting. And the other one you mentioned, Wicked Thoughts, I think he's a bad pointer. Another one of those where pants have been pulled down to the owners just because they got a few quid and they want to buy a nice horse, and it's got a 1 next to name. But I could be wrong with that one. I was very wrong about Time for a Tune before. That same similar thing. Anyway, I'm just reliving my past, and I'm making myself feel bad about all the mistakes I've made in my life. Jamie, not a mistake. What do you like in here? Anything?
Nothing. Move on. New market.
Happy days. Right, so that is Chepstow done. I mean, no one's going to be hanging around for this long anyway, but if they were and I was to do gun to a head, of the 2 days, I know I'm putting you all on the spot, what would be your best bet of the 2 days? Jamie?
T-clipper.
Oh, go on. Katie, can I make you make a rash decision? No pressure.
Oh, that's really on the spot there. Who would I go for? Chianti Classico, if he jumps the fence. We'll go for him.
Yes, I like it. These are good, right? The main reason why I like catching people on the hop with it is if someone goes straight in, then they obviously do fancy it. If we're doing what we're doing there, then it's a bit much of a muchness. I Write would be my best bet. Just have the lot on I Write in the first, and then you've got 13 more races to get your money back if you've done your nuts. Please gamble responsibly. Right, we'll wrap this bit up here for the Chepstow stuff, and then if you're still happy to hang around, Katie, should we have a look at some of the good stuff for Saturday?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you don't have to say yes, by the way, at this point. If you spent more than enough time, and I'm genuinely appreciative of that.